So hello everybody, this is 19 to the dozen, the podcast where we meet foreigners living in Prague and we hear their wonderful stories. Today with us, wonderful Miss Petra Brkic, originally from Zagreb, a tattoo artist in Prague for One Love tattoo studio, which is where we are actually being hosted today. So thank you very much, One Love, for letting us interview your artist. And thank you, Petrica, for being here. Last thing I wanted to say is you can see her art on Instagram. You also do prints as well,
I do,
right?
thank
Okay,
you.
and the handle is at Petrica with four times
Yes,
the R.
with 4 R's. It was just, I think I did it because the normal one. Petrica was like my nickname, like in Czech is Petruška. And I think I made my Instagram before I even decided to start or something. So it just stayed like this. And then I realized it became a little bit confusing for people. Thank you for support and having me. So I was
You're
really
welcome.
looking
I mean,
forward when you texted.
for people watching this on video, because we are as well on video, and maybe this is a good time to like and comment the podcast and subscribe for new content. But people watching the video, this is all Petra, right? So yeah. So thank you for doing that. So how does one become a tattoo artist in general, I guess, and then in Prague?
Yeah, that's a good question because I mean, like, I still consider myself a part of like the younger generation because, like, when I compare myself to like my great colleague and the legend Carlito, who is the shop's owner, he's tattooing since 1997. So I was 7 years old and I didn't know. But I must say that even in like my modest experience, which is like not so, I mean, it's 8 years already, I would say. I already see the changes now and now someone becomes due to like bigger approach to everything through internet. And I don't know, I've been raised on this like old school point of view, how to start a bit. I don't know, I think I started like watching those American Miami Ink and stuff.
Okay.
And I was really always drawing, cliche story. Like I was studying fashion design after and really as a kid. And then I was drawing and then later on I started kind of really being interested in like, tattoos, they have this specific type of, I should maybe draw something for my own later on. And then I was like preparing sketches, I think, for my friends as well back then in Croatia.
And this was happening in like, how old were you back then?
I think I was like early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was already like, I was studying and also like already you kind of had like things more approachable on media and stuff. Not so much like today, but like there was like maybe those sitcoms or something about it. I just wanted to have it on me. And therefore, I don't know, I was just drawing and bringing it to my tattooer, like for as an example, as a reference. And back then, the tattooer, he was like, maybe you should try doing this. And I was like, oh my God, like I don't want to even like mess with this culture. Step by step, I kind of dive into it. And I got an opportunity to work with my old colleague, Philip. He was basically my mentor. Hi, Philip. I really give a lot of thanks to him about everything. And yeah, I think I was like tattooing in Croatia. I started a bit at home on some friends, but like I started with him in the shop actually officially. And then I started somehow traveling a little bit, visiting some friends in Europe, and doing slowly some guest spots, which one of them was actually this one, this shop in Prague. So yeah, it was like I just came alone here. There was no other attachment. It was actually my kind of a tour. I think I was traveling from like Bosnia through Zagreb, Vienna, Berlin, and then on the way back, Prague was like my last stop. And I was like, oh my God, I want to go home. I don't know even this city. And I'm so stressed to tattoo in this shop because I was really admiring the work here. And I came here, and I think my guest spot was about like 4 days. And after 4 days, I just prolonged it for 7 because it just felt great in the city, and it was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's go back to like the beginnings. Do you remember your first tattoo?
Yes, it was actually on tattooer Xeno who kind of pushed me like you should maybe start doing this. I don't even remember how I did it. I remember it was I think like some small heart. He was just spontaneously, come on, do it on me, and like, so it wasn't like so prepared. I don't know, like should I be proud or anything? It was horrible. I was like sweating and I didn't know how to. So maybe it wasn't like, I wouldn't consider it as like a proper thing, but I think later on I tried on myself at home. I ordered the equipment with
Cool.
some like advices, and I think it was like when my mom went to sleep because back then I
Because
was
of the
still
sound
living,
and
yeah,
stuff,
at home,
right?
and yeah, and because of the sound, and I didn't want to give any like that I might be start being into this. So I think I just tried out something on my arm just to like, I was too excited not to. So yeah, that was it. And then I had some
So
good friends.
the reason why I was asking is because, I mean, if you ask people around, they would say start on orange peel or buy some pork belly and try
It's
it
not a
on
bad
the
idea, definitely. I
right.
tried,
So you
but I
kind of
didn't.
skipped that part. You were like
I tried, but I
your
didn't
mentor,
like
and then
it.
next to you. Huh?
I didn't like it because I was also happy to try on myself to kind of see the whole process of after the healing and everything, to actually be working on the actual skin. So I mean, like, I think like the fruit is like the best thing, of course, and you practice the mobility of your hand because holding the machine gun is the machine is like definitely, I shouldn't be saying this gun, I forgot it's machine, but it's different than holding the pen. But of course, like everyday drawing, the flow of your wrist definitely helps, and speeds up the whole process. But then skin is not a paper, and depending on where you work on the body, it's different stretching. It's like it takes a lot of adjustments and stuff. But so yeah, it's a lifetime learning for sure.
It is, right?
Every day I'm surprised, like, oh, I managed something that I didn't manage yesterday. So let's say it like this, yeah.
How did you try different styles, or have you always been in love with the old school style that I know you for at least?
Yeah, I think like that everybody should be open to do everything because that's why I like to like also say being a tattooer, not only tattoo artist, because it's a craft. So and we give service to people. If we are having like a shop that is open, like that is a street shop, it's not that it is my private atelier and I just do my art and something. So definitely, like, especially if you're like doing the apprenticeship, you are taught to do a lot of other things. And this is what I kind of don't like in this age that is maybe forgotten, because like one tribal that looks so simple is much more harder technically to do right than even small traditional rows maybe. Because it's just a technique part to actually make the perfect bonding of a line and filling in on the skin, and actually how there is a certain study of so many different arts, such as like also tribals. I like to put it up because it's such an old design that people like maybe like take for granted now, but I admire it a lot. It's like really like when I see people with some tribal designs or something that used to be more modern back then, and you see it so well healed these days. So without internet, without anything, those tattooers were doing these kind of things,
True.
It looks simple, but it's also not so much.
I never thought about
think.
it like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's really
Awesome.
I had a great mentor in this case, because he was like he was always saying like, yeah, you can do your traditional things on your friend, whatever, but like when you're in this shop, I want you to do the tiny scripts, tribals on people. And I was sweating. I was like crying after, because he was like, I know that this like, I need to do it well, because it's a part of tattooing, not only like, oh, I created a design and I'm just a tattoo artist. And I do paint stuff that I put on people's skin, yes, after, but still there is like a lot of other things I do. If I'm capable of. If there is something that I just never studied, I rather recommend another tattooer for that. So
Which is kind of
So,
nice
yeah,
because from what I
yeah,
see being around the shop and so on, you guys are like recommending each other. It's kind of
of
a very like
course.
friendly trade or
I
whatever to
think it
be in,
should be
right?
like this. Yeah.
And you're traveling, and also, I mean, while these years in Prague, you've been traveling as a guest
Yeah,
tattooer all
yeah,
around the world. I think you mentioned
yeah.
even Asia, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
right?
working in Singapore. That was awesome. Like thanks to our good colleagues and friends, and there was like, I mean, once you're on a tattoo scene, like in like a environment that is like how it should be, like from maybe our subjective point of view, it's everywhere is the same. So let's say once I was in a shop, Bada Bing, from our really good colleagues in Singapore. It was the same atmosphere, you know. It didn't feel like, but of course, like me when I was, I think I was 26, then being able to see Southeast Asia, which maybe if I'm not tattooing, who knows if I would be able to maybe either, yeah, get a chance to go there, meet people. So that's a wonderful part of it, like all this multicultural or in general tattooing experience. Then you learn, like I had a kind of a mentor, but I learned most of my stuff just like traveling and like watching other tattooers or getting tattooed. I was like, actually, I'm still a tattoo client. I go and I
Right.
also pay for
Unfortunately,
my
like
tattoos, you know.
they
It's
can't
not like,
see, but
yeah, next time. It was too cold, but yeah,
you
like,
still have like this is sorry maybe to cut
no,
the flow
it's
and stuff.
normal.
I was maybe an idiot now, but
No.
since I've known you, you kept that space there. I mean, is it like you're gonna plan for it, or it's almost the last free you have,
I
right?
actually have a lot of like, I mean, I don't have like some things on my body, and I think like I was never like this. Oh, I'm a tattooer now, so I get the chance to be more in like tattoo environment. So I want to like feel in my body. No, but it's more that I like. For example, for me, it's like collecting. Such as someone is collecting records. I want to collect
Collect
art from
tattoos and
certain,
yeah, why?
and I
Wow.
don't.
Yes, of
And
course.
I mean, I like to say because, as I say, like I don't. When I book my appointment at someone, it's not that I say I'm a tattooer. So it's like, you know, I'm a client. I go there. I do the same thing what I expect my clients to do. For me, like not in a harsh way, you know, but like.
Yeah.
So for me, actually,
Have
this
you ever
is.
gotten tattooed without the person tattooing you knowing you're a tattoo artist?
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe we mentioned like on the second session or something. Because let's say maybe it was
And
just
what you're
like,
like, "Oh, I would have done it differently.
oh no.
Wipe it there, wipe it there," stuff like that. What
I
are you
was actually super honored that I would get it like from a person.
Okay.
But no, I like I know I have too much to learn. I'm still a yeah. Anyway, but like it was more that this also helped me. Like I was actually on purpose hoping that I can get a spot, but like some really artists that I appreciate, and then I can get tattooed, I can watch, I can see, and how much I learned just because I was watching the movement of how a person is preparing the station. Because it's much more than actually once you are on the skin. It's like, for example, because I never know exactly how long when my clients, sometimes I always say like, please book a day off.
Okay.
Because unless it's something really spontaneous, small, you know, like, but if it's like a project that might take time, like it's not necessary that I would always prepare it in advance, because often we draw or redraw on the spot. Station preparing, station cleaning after. What if you don't feel well? There is like a lot of things. So let's actually like this kind of little extras. I was learning mostly by watching other tattooers, like either in the shop where I was working. It's just like this sharing experience and like just adopting a bit. Like I would even write notes sometimes, just like you
Really
can
taking notes?
Yeah, just like it
Wow.
helped. It helped a lot, because it's like yeah, people do things different ways, and then you just collect them, and then it becomes your autopilot. Maybe you already have it or something, but it's really yeah.
Aesthetically, do you think that you've grown? I mean, can we say you've grown? Still, you doing the same kind of old school designs,
I
but
hope.
maybe yeah. How? I mean,
I think it's the okay.
tell me how you
Honestly,
approach it.
there is something
How-
that I
so, yeah.
no. Sorry, you can
Yeah,
finish.
no,
You see, I told you I talk too much.
no. It's. I mean, what I was
Yeah.
like. The whole thing can be packed. Like, where does your inspiration come from?
Ooh.
You know, and how do you make the designs yours, and how do you?
Yeah, well, the inspiration comes from tons of different things. Like, definitely, it comes from other tattooers or from the origin of a certain style you want to do, because it is a base. It is a base you need to follow. Let's say if we're going to study the Japanese, man, like, it's so strict in a good way. I mean that, like, you don't want to mess up if you do something wrong, and there is a certain flow of things. Is the same for this old school traditional, American traditional, is the same for tribal, as I said, for New Zealand. Like, it's like there is so many culturals that there is like a certain rules you kind of need to follow to do so. But there is like, you need to take something from there to make it look as something you want to represent, if you already call it this way. But then, like, there is like like I maybe can take inspirations about certain motives. Let's say I want to make this was a good point. Me moving to Prague, I spent a lot of time alone here, and it was awesome. So I also got to know Prague by myself. Like, just I was wandering and getting lost around, and I was visiting a lot of museums, and I was sometimes just taking a photo of some little sculpture somewhere on the top of another sculpture, and I would use it as a shape of a, let's say, something, let's say a body, and then I would add it to my painting, whatever. It can be a lot of stuff, like, really. It can be inspiration from other tattooers that are working around me, my colleagues. It can be so many. Also, these travels, like, when every time I go to a different country, I like to see something, like, especially when I went to Southeast Asia. It was just like, oh wow, like, I want to get inspired there. Or I traveled to Rome.
Okay.
And it was like super great to be like there with like the Roman sculptures, because it was like actually something what I found inspiring when I do my lady faces. Or it can be like some old vintage photos, like anything. Like, yeah, I just need to see it like something that I want to make something out of it. So yeah, but the thing is that what I really must say, that even that we were not able to work this basically, let's say, last year, because we were open a bit, but like because I had a burnout a little bit, I must say, from years before, because I didn't know how to say no to people. I was taking everything, I was traveling everywhere.
Yeah, it
Then
was very hard. Even as a friend, it was very hard to get
I know,
appointed. Yeah.
exactly. And it wasn't like nothing pretentious, like,
No, I
hey
totally
man,
get it. Yeah.
I know you're my friend and I don't have time for you. But it was like really, like, I couldn't work extra hours. Like, I couldn't afford myself, because then the next day there was something. I mean, the thing is that it was hard to turn out some projects, because a lot of people was traveling from another country, were traveling from another countries. So imagine they were like, booking flights, accommodations, and I want to keep the whole day for them, because there might be a bigger project already. So there's like these little bits, that I would like need to like really, and then in the end, working 5 days a week, having 2 days off, which you need to use for work again. And then I had really a burnout with, plus my family lives in Croatia. My friends are living, also some of them out of Prague. My boyfriend lives in Berlin, but like in general, it's like everything was just like handling everything. And this year is like really, it gave me actually last year. I'm kind of losing a track with you. I was so happy, honestly. I don't want to sound bad, but when it stopped, I was like, oh my God, I don't need to go there. I don't need to travel there the next month. Oh my God. I was so, because I also stopped enjoying Prague at some point, because I was just out of it, or I was just super working, which is amazing. I love to be in the shop, but when you kind of stop enjoying.
And the shop is just like 100 meters away from Teen Church, right?
Exactly.
Which for people like
Yeah.
as the Disney kind of castle slash cathedral, right, in the center. So yeah.
And it's a street shop, and you want to keep the flow going, because it's like, we it's nice to, when people come here, they pick a flash, but at some point it was really, for me personally, a lot. Like in general, I was just like lost, and then Yeah, I found it also hard. Like friends wants to visit you in Prague, but when you're doing it for like years, having guests, it was just like, I love you all, but it was like really, I couldn't. I was really trying to say like, I cannot like, it was lifestyle I couldn't afford anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I wasn't 24 anymore. Like I had
I
different
couldn't.
priorities and, like, so basically I had a burnout. And then what I wanted to just go back to that, the I finally found time to like draw again, paint, study what I wanted. I took like months and months, like a year basically, where I was just taking it easy. So this is where maybe I would see my progress, like in a way that maybe it's not a progress as much as I feel more comfortable in what I'm doing. And when we had shop open in summer and autumn, I just took things slowly. I took it like I said, hey guys, I want to work like one appointment a day. I mean, it wasn't busy in general due to the situation. Then we also had it open like in Christmas time, and it was just like, okay, And this is where I saw my progress because I took time. There was no rushing. There was no like, oh, I have an appointment or I need to go home because I need to draw for. I just kind of took time. I was like, it was for me, it was personally about like booking the schedule for myself. Like, okay, I cannot book you tomorrow because I need to draw for something. So it was like, I learned, like when everything stopped, I learned how to actually deal with it all better. So I plan to continue like this because I think like this craft deserves the more clean mind from my side. And really like some people, they're like, you deserve more time if you're coming here and like booking, you're traveling from somewhere. It needs to be
Do
like,
you see yourself doing something else in the future?
I know that's it. I cannot. It's like people often ask me this, and sometimes not that I feel offended, but it's just like, no, it's like, no, I don't mean it in a bad way. It's really not. It's just like it's normal to ask. It's just like when you give so much into this, it's like now doing something else. I mean, of course, because yes, look, I don't know what can happen. Like what is already happening, being closed, and if I need to get another, but I will just say part-time job, like due to the situation,
Yeah.
to pay my bills. Of course, I would do something. It's not a problem, but no, I don't think it's just like I gave not so much as like my other colleagues maybe who are doing it for longer give, but it's kind of, yeah, no, I cannot, I don't know if I can imagine myself. But I mean, you never know what happens. And I know, like, I've heard there is also one podcast by our, like, a colleague. He's like doing podcasts with like tattooers, and I heard that they like stop a little bit and they did something maybe similar to it, but life brought you somewhere, and maybe you also had a bit of a burnout. It was a lot, so you need to slow it down, because tattooing is like really not a lifestyle, what you see like, oh yeah, we're like getting drunk every day after work now and stuff, like this, what I say, Miami Ink and stuff. But like it's just you need to be devoted. That's why it's kind of hard imagining like, oh, to give up on everything after so much. And
But this is like, I guess, great advice for anything. I mean, as long as you've set your mind to what you want to do and you put in the hours, theoretically the success and everything else the returns will be there, as long as you put in the time and you have the motivation to go on, I guess.
Exactly, because I was like thinking, I don't even want some kind of a success of like, I like look at me like in this famous way. I just want to have this like stability of like this constant clientele, that like this like workflow that is easy but devoted, the consistency about it, and that I can see that it's improving, that I'm like just doing some stuff that maybe I was afraid to do before. I don't know, like I think I even, when I was doing your tattoo, this one that we messed
You
up
want to
with
mention it?
yes, why not, where we missed the letter. But
Let's not mention
it was more like in a way that I think I was using the super thin needles, which I wasn't always comfortable using because I was like really afraid at some point. But I would always say honestly, oh, okay, I'm gonna use some thinner needles. I don't. Sounds like now super like simple how I said it, but there is just some things that I was afraid not to. Maybe just technically, yeah. It's like forever learning process. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I
Let's
want to
go
take
back
time for this.
to the first time you were featured here on the in One Love. So initially came for 2 days and then decided to like
Yeah, I
take
came.
four
It was
more
like
and so
some
on.
couple
And
of days of guest spot, and
so let's talk Prague. So what made you fall in love with the city, and how is it different from Zagreb?
yeah, it was just city itself. So I came here, and I just did like a couple of days of guest spot, and of course I really get along well with my colleagues here, and they are also foreigners. Actually, back then, there was like three other colleagues. They opened their own shop. Meanwhile, but they're still in Prague. Everything great. We're friends. But anyway, they're also foreigners. Some I don't know. Maybe sounds like this cliche, but they're Bulgarians, and there was kind of a maybe flow more
Okay.
like because you're both foreigners, and yeah, it was a bit like I felt kind of like home in a way, but also like I liked Prague that it wasn't home. There was like so many other things that was so different and so, but still it made me feel like it gave me always this great feeling. And anyway, what I wanted to say, so I came alone. I didn't know the city. I just booked one like Airbnb, and I was so happy to stay longer because I was like, oh my god, like I would go for a coffee alone. I usually like to do things alone. I don't have a problem like in a way of sitting alone for a coffee or walking around or something, but it just felt so good. Like the beer was really good. But all these like little things. Walking around through parks to city, and then we already like made a deal. Like, hey Petra, you should maybe come more often. And I was like, oh my god, of course. So Prague was also kind of like my escape a little bit. Like, I was alone here in a good way. I have had colleagues, friends already, but it was like just like, okay, it's my like oasis. I love Prague. There was just something I love doing everything here. There was always like some show concert to see, so there was always stuff to do. It wasn't like I come here, I work, I go home or something.
Yeah. I've just as a side note, at one point the Pixies were in the same night with Linkin Park.
Okay, like this, there is always something
right?
going
There's
on.
always something going on in Prague,
Exactly.
and that's amazing. And there's for me, as I got to know the city, the expats thing, like the community
Yes.
we know Camilo, and he's from
Yeah,
South
yeah,
America, right?
he's, like,
And
from
then we
Colombia,
know other
so-
people from Southeast Asia, and
Exactly.
then it's so.
Because when we kind of started hanging out, it was through our mutual friend Nicola,
Yeah.
and
We love you, Nicola.
we love you, Nikki.
Volim te, Nicola.
But exactly, and it was like because actually Nicola moved maybe like a little bit after me, but we were like we knew
You
each
guys
other.
were high school colleagues, or
We were not high school. We
because
knew
he
each other.
introduced me to you? That's
Exactly, we
clear.
knew each other from like punk shows in Croatia.
Okay, so
I say punk shows because there was like a small DIY show, so the community is smaller.
Yeah.
But we were never like hanging out like now. But when we both
when the community is 50 people, you are bound to
it's like your
bump into
your
each other.
family.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
So
We have the same kind of experience in Timisoara.
and the
with punk
smaller
scene.
countries, it's like even like
Yeah.
like Croatia is
The community is the community. Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually happened for me in Prague. Do you remember Buban? There was this.
Oh, I need to then tell because thanks to Tarlito, I was visiting Buban so much with him. Because, our shop is like based on punk rock and skate, and he's like the legend as well. And he was always taking me there in the beginning, and I felt like a little girl, like, oh my God. Like
But the community was
Yeah,
like that, right?
exactly.
Where did those people go in Prague now? Because
That's a pity
I know.
because Buban was closing some
maybe-
years ago,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
3.
Yeah, something
And
like
we
that.
were all like, oh my God, such a legendary sport.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
because it was like for decades, like something that
I
you
think
know
so,
as
yeah. It was like the punk. It was the only place I knew in Prague where you could see like, this kind of ska punk concerts with
yeah.
people like
Yeah.
properly dressing up.
Yeah,
and,
like this
and
more
pin-up
like-
girls and everything else. And
there's still like
Psychobilly kind of trend.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
it
really
was a
legendary.
lovely place,
Same like Sedmička, like this 007. It's
okay,
like,
yeah.
it's like more like maybe like, but it's like really, really popular. Or like I was unfortunately, but I'm sure we're gonna be there like soon. But there is
I
like a
hope
lot
so.
of, going back to this thing, like, and then Nicola, we started just like, hey, you're here. Yeah, I'm here. Like, and even though we never talked in Zagreb much, I think we went together to Lucerna against Misho. It was the first like big show. Let's just go together. Like, oh my God. And it was amazing. And then, yeah.
Yeah, you just fall in love with Nikola. Nikola is that type of a guy that you instantly kind of can relate to and fall in love with.
And exactly, like, you can just go whatever with him. And it was awesome. Yeah. And like getting to know more people, like.
Did you tattoo him first before moving to Prague, or you actually that was it was in Prague when you
exactly it was in Prague.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot even what was the first one we did. We did a lot.
I think I might be wrong, but I think that the first one was with the skeleton on armchair with the music is that kind of
exactly.
I think that was
the first one.
I think.
Then we did this on the leg, the big one with Muka. Yeah, it was. But he has super cool ideas.
Yeah, he does.
He always has this like, oh my God, you know what? I had like not like getting stoned ideas, but like so anybody, in a way, super, yeah.
So what's okay? So we talked about the punk scene and so on, and Prague has a lot to offer like that, right?
Yeah. It was really there's so many places to go, like sometimes it was even like I was with my colleague Petra here, and you were at some point it was too much maybe, but it was like we had energy,
Yeah, Prague kind of gives you this. I kind of have the same kind of feeling that it sucks you in and it doesn't, like it keeps you there somehow.
Did you have it like? Because I always had it
in the beginning, for a couple of years.
And when I'm entering Prague with the bus back, like I must say I'm coming home here. I'm like, I'm back. I'm back here.
Which one is the?
Depends on which side you're coming from. Let's say south or north, but doesn't matter. For me, it was like every time I'm entering, it was just like, I don't know why. It was me. I have friends who didn't like it. I mean.
How can you not like it?
It was their life story. Maybe they were just searching for something else here. But I must tell you now, like even in this pandemic, where like basically.
For me now, it's really lovely to see the city.
And I still feel
like
good.
Without, I maybe should feel guilty. I'm saying this, but without the tourists, it's like you can actually see the city.
Do you know what? I went to Charles Bridge. It was the beginning of pandemic. It was like this when you were really. It was like when we didn't know what's going on, so it was quite strict that you should really walk alone around the street more or less. And I was really kind of happy to spend a lot of time alone because I was always surrounded too much with people, not in a bad way, but I like my time alone. And I remember I was texting my friends and my mom like, I'm on the Charles Bridge after 4 years, maybe I took a photo of it. And I was like, wow, right? It was like, oh my God. And I mean, now already, like...
Tourists will wake up at 4:30 in the morning during the summer to get that shot, Petra.
Exactly. No, back then, that's such a good point. Back then, it was like, wait a second. Or when you have someone over, let's say you have a friend over from another country, and then you're like, okay, look, I'm at work. If you want to go see Charles Bridge and this kind of stuff, you do it, and then we can meet after for a beer because I'm not taking anyone to sightsee ever again. And now it's like you can actually, you feel like going there. Like I was like going home on purpose around, because I live in Holešovice, and just like around, like because I can do it now. It's empty and.
And the even like the small streets right down here in the center, they now seem so wide because you don't have to squeeze through the people and so on, right? It's kind of airy and nice, and it.
Because I like the flow of a lot of people in Prague.
Czechs would approve, right? Right, Stan?
I think so. Well, we were watching with my boyfriend actually. This also guy who is like honest guide.
Honest
right?
Guy,
It was pretty cool, and he was really talking about cool stuff that I didn't even know about because, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, of course, I love people and multicultural, and I miss it a bit, this flow of tourism, but at some point it was like this, it was so bad, like, in a way that it was so much, that you couldn't, like, even here in front of the shop, we would have a really, like, dirt that we would need to clean every morning.
Of course, I remember being the first one to show up for an appointment.
Because we were always meeting at 12.
Yes.
One maximum
and
for
it
appointment.
was always, like, Yeah, but
And it's okay, it's a part of it. At some point, look, we were also like taking it as like a part of
being
where we
in
are.
such a
And I
wonderful
love it in a
scenery.
weird
Me
way.
too.
Exactly.
I live a little like few streets down the corner, and it's
Exactly.
the same. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
on a Tuesday at 3 a.m. in the morning, you'd have the, I don't know, ultras of Lazio and Roma meeting on the same street and like shouting at each other randomly. You know, like it's Prague. I mean, it's, you know, and these things which
Yeah.
should piss you off, actually, it's the paradox that it's
Yeah.
actually giving you the energy to
Exactly. It
fall
is-
in love with the city. It's so alive and it's so.
But then you see, even now when everything stops, when it's closed, it's still, you find this other beauty about it. That's why I love it here, because it's never, I mean, also I think depends on the person you are. Like, I'm not a clubbing party person. You know, I like to go to pubs and talk with people, you know, but like my friends, I mean, but like I'm not like extrovert, so I don't need this so much. But on the other hand, it's also nice to have it. But also when it's quiet, it's also nice. I mean, we were talking with my colleagues, friends in our shop. You know, we miss this flow. I mean, in general, we need the shop to work like so. But like in a way, you know, we liked it when the doors was open, people were coming, or you go out. There is
Right,
something
you have a
more
lot of
flow on
work,
the-
like walk-ins as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
because
when
you're in
you're
the
here,
center and-
and tourists come and they want like a forever
Yeah.
memory of Prague or something.
Exactly. So it's actually really nice, you know. And I mean, we have like, there was also like group of tourists that was like the stag dudes. I mean, sorry, hi guys,
yeah, all
but
right.
they already know. We already know them. I mean, like, but it was in the end like, I don't know. Like, this may be harsh to say, but like, it's already, you kind of know the how to
Type
say
of
that, the cliche
tattoo
tourists, or
from
sometimes
when
like
the-
not the cliche, but you know, like people come for a certain purpose here.
Yeah.
So let's say if it's a group of bachelors, if it's a group of, but we know that, and let's be
Yes.
honest.
I
I'm
mean,
talking
this-
about it
yeah.
honestly because it's, you can see it. It's
Yeah.
like come on, my friends come to visit and they're like, oh my god.
I actually miss
this-
the penis man. I have not seen the penis man in.
You see,
No?
exactly, exactly. But it's really true, and you know why they came here. Like, we had them in the shop, like, and it was like, okay, you're bachelors, okay. So you know, like, it's, we already knew it, but it was fun. Like, I mean, I would never saw this in my life. Like, in
I've seen the reverse of it. On my street, there's actually a shop, a bar that actually has a big sign with no stag parties.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
I mean, you're seeing the
not in
total
a, but
reverse.
we
of
were
it.
also sending people away because they would come like in really condition that was just like, man, like, no, you cannot get tattooed, you know. But still, like, seeing this, you know, we would just like, then we would like stand and like, oh my god, like, you know how they arranged all this strip and all this T-shirt. It just, it is always same. Like, I mean,
What's
but
the weirdest
yeah.
tattoo you've done? Like the weirdest
I don't
thing?
know. It's always a hard question. Because, like, everything is like a personal, super personal thing. So I never look at it like, oh my God, you know? I'm like,
Okay.
I'm being like, I mean, I never had some weird bad experience. I think it's also like the clientele we attract. It's like what we are probably. So everything is, you know, politically correct and stuff like this. But like, so I never found anything weird. It was either maybe just like individually. I mean, to me, like, I never take this, let's say, if I come home and then I say like, hey, babe, what did you do today? Sometimes, or what did you hear? You know, things like come and go.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a moment, you know, I don't remember those stories in a way, or like in a gossip way.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, that's right.
you know, so it's more like this approach that, okay, this is in a moment. But of course, I mean, with some people you tattoo more often, you get more attached to already, you're close. So you're like sharing life experience from both sides. So you actually, you do like text each other, like, hey, are you doing okay? How's life? You know, like not like on daily basis, but like once a year, you know.
I have
like,
the same experience as being a bartender. I
Right?
mean, having my own bar, I mean, having this kind of interaction with the people, it's a driver as well, besides the art and everything else. Because yeah, you get rich by hearing other people's stories in
this is
such
what
a
I
nice
love
way.
about this. And I was exactly. So, but how long you work for, like as a bartender?
Well, it was just a side business I had with friends at home.
Okay,
but
yeah, but-
for 2-3 years, kind of.
That's a lot.
But it
for-
was during my, I mean, it was like kind of my night job. I was having a normal
yeah,
office, you know, so.
yeah. I was also.
But I couldn't, I mean, why I think it gave me energy is because I don't think about that period as being burned out or tired, and I think
That's
it was
what
because
exactly.
I was fed with that energy from
Oh, don't
from
get me
people.
wrong. There is a lot of things where I would also like overbook my schedule because it was feeding me all this experience or like traveling or meeting people. And sometimes I say like that. I mean, I was also working in a bar in my student days, so I was always having these like jobs or life experiences like similar, but that sometimes like you have a person and I'm tattooing a person like the whole day, and then you hear, let's say, something about their job which maybe you would never read about, and like one day is like encyclopedia, and then I come home and I start like googling, oh my god, this is so cool. You
Yeah.
know. And then it's super amazing, like, because you actually spend 8 hours here sometimes,
Yeah,
you know, and
sure.
then you don't say like, oh, this person tell me this, but I come with a story like, oh my god, you know what I heard today, like my client has such a cool job, has such a cool story about this, blah blah blah, and it's like, I love it. Like, it's, as I told you, like, it's like I'm having a talk, like podcast with them. It's like either they tell me stuff or I don't know. Yeah.
What's the worst thing that happened while you were tattooing? Did anybody pass out or stuff like that? These things happen? I mean,
Of course. Yeah. I mean, happens because like the thing is that
excessive bleeding, like, I don't know.
nothing major. I mean, like, the thing is that people still need to consider coming on a tattoo serious in a way that we are making a wound on your body. So, you know.
Pretty serious. Yeah?
Exactly. Like, I mean,
Pretty
we are.
serious.
I mean, that's why we're close now. Because, like, yeah, I mean, like, honestly, this is what I love what my mom says, like, as a mom of a tattooer. Like, you know, they're never too happy. But no, she's super.
Does she have any tattoo?
She always wanted one for me, but then she was like, you know, let's see one. She will get
Mom.
it, I think, from me, Mom. But I was super stressed to tattoo her. Oh my god, I don't know. Even when I'm tattooing my sister, I'm like, or anyone like I really like have like super close is like, oh my god, they're my loves. But anyway, and she was always saying like that. She always says like, yeah, drawing, but Petra, like, what are you doing and what are you dealing with and this blood, and like, take care of yourself. Like, she actually saw this like really the more
Like
like
a risk for you?
serious,
Yeah.
exactly, like, or in general, that what I was mentioning about this, like, cleaning the station, having the place sanitary. So it means that you need to come also, like, you know, I mean, anything can happen. It can happen that you're just like in a closed place, like in under the artificial light, you know, of course, and then you have this adrenaline a bit. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily, oh, you saw blood on your fresh tattoo. It's like normal things, you know, that comes out. But it can just be the euphoria or like low blood pressure, and yes, you can pass out.
That's how, no?
I had it.
Yeah. Cool.
So, I mean, but it's like...
This leads
that
me to
happens
another
often.
question, which I was thinking, should I ask or not? Is it a good question or not? But fuck it. Do you need a little bit of masochism? Do you enjoy? Like, because you play with
Everybody
needles
asks
and, you
me.
know, like, do you enjoy seeing how the...
No,
At
no.
one time when we were doing my elbow, I mean, okay,
I
whatever.
love doing elbows.
Okay. So, but like I don't
Elbow
know.
was
It's
massive.
like looking. It's not about the pain. It's about how the
No, I'm actually-
eventually the muscles or the skin gets tired and then it starts shaking in the rhythm of the
Yeah,
needle
the
somehow. And it's
twitching.
if anybody passes out now, we are apologizing.
No, I'm actually like too much, maybe sometimes even in empathy level, being like, this is what.
So I was
my
thinking.
people
I was
around me
thinking
told
she
me.
must enjoy
Don't
this.
be
She must
sorry too
enjoy this.
much. No, no. There is something what we always say, like, oh, if you're tattooing, that maybe you're like, I mean, in general, to deal with all the stress that comes with it, but the good stress, I guess. No. Actually, I'm quite like super too worried. Like, are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah, you are actually.
It's just that, yeah.
You're
it's
like
just-
a good dentist, Petra.
I
I've
hope
got
so.
so many tattoos from you. I can say that if you were a dentist, you would be a very good dentist.
I really feel bad. And you know, when I feel bad, I don't feel bad when I see that people are like really maybe like being like too much. How can we make a break every 15 minutes? This doesn't exist. This cannot be done like this. But when I really see a person sitting so well, like not moving, but then seeing in their face that they're in such pain, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I mean,
Yeah. What
I
can you
don't
do?
push them, but
Yeah.
because I know that they're painful. The more you get it, it gets worse. But
No? Yeah, there are some places in the body where you
exactly,
can actually.
exactly.
It is tough.
And really, that there can be just a day where your body just it's not 100% or not even 70%. Let's say that's something that you need to. So you can just say in the middle of the session, like, "Hey, dude, I'm enough for today," because this you want to prevent this not necessarily fainting, but any kind of
Drop in
dropping.
calcium
Yeah,
or whatever.
actually, after maybe you need to be fresh for. Like I always say, like, look, if you're getting tattoo on certain spots or like such as knee or something, like take a day off if you can tomorrow, or don't ask me about the gym and stuff. It's a wound, it needs to heal properly. It's like people tend to forget it, like that it's not just I have a beautiful picture on me, like, oh, so I can just do whatever, because you really need to like give it time to heal, so like not to stress it. And also when you were, let's say, there, if it's a longer session, if I'm talking too much, you stop me.
No, it's okay.
Like it's like just I'm just remembering. It's like you can. It's like your whole body was suffering. Like if you were like, I think personally, and from what other people are saying, it's like everything after 4 hours, 5 is already. Maybe sometimes before you're losing like the body temperature because you're actually the more like better you're sitting, like you're actually losing more energy to stay still, because you're like giving your best to not to move. So, and then you're like at the end of the day, you're like having this feverish.
Yeah.
So like, please rest, like just take your night off, take the day off if you can the next day, if you're really going for like, I mean, it's not necessarily so strict. People who are getting tattoo often, they know already what's the best, but like, take it
would be
easy,
a very good advice for like first time tattoo goers or whatever.
Of course, it's like probably things go smooth and everything is perfect, but it's just like good to know that if you stand up and go outside, and if you maybe feel not necessarily lightheaded, but it can be that you're just like also this positive adrenaline that you get because you're maybe happy that you have a new tattoo, it can result in a way of like a rush, of a blood, and just like chill and get it rest a bit. And yeah, there's like a lot of things that you need to take care of.
What about post care? Because what do you recommend usually, and how? You have your magic products.
Yeah, I mean, like there's like I always say the simpler the better. And again, repeating, like just take a break. Really, if it's on like let's say, but imagine if you have like a massive knee tattoo. So imagine your whole knee is a big
double in size.
wound.
Yeah.
It's a wound, and you need to keep it like wrapped, clean, like disinfected. Well, there is like luckily now a lot of new products on the market in a way that actually we can use to prevent like worse healing. There is like this we call it like a second skin foil that you can keep on your body for. I personally love it.
Yeah, I think it's the
right,
yeah,
because I've been through a lot, and
you can actually wash the.
You can just like it's so
normal.
easy because basically what's the most important, I believe, that in the beginning when the wound is fresh, these first 2-3 days, and the whole plasma is still coming out, and the ink. Like you need to like wash it, keep it clean. It's a common sense. If you leave the blood dry on the air, what do you get? Crust. So it's the same with tattoo. It will not, if you don't clean it. So this is the most important. To get rid of this. And then after,
don't break the crust.
You start exactly like please don't give the crust. And then later you start with the moisturizer when the skin is dry. You don't put the moisturizer on a fresh cut, right?
Yeah.
You let it dry out.
Yeah.
So it's the same. And this like this foil that I don't know. It's like divided. Someone likes it, someone doesn't like it. It's good because it prevents it, like, it prevents it. It's like basically made for and used in pharmacies as well for like burn skin at some levels, like some kind of a burns or injuries. So it's quite convenient because tattoo is most likely that, it's like a surface wound. It's not a deep one. It shouldn't be a deep one. So it's like, I'm actually happy, let's say, if someone travels or if it's like a tourist kind of a person that came here. So yeah, you're not going to take a day off from sightseeing if you're here for 3 days, So this would be super convenient. Like I would
He's
just
also
put it.
not gonna come back with a complaint. So
I hope so. Exactly. So I know it will heal. I hope. So yeah. So this is like, it's just some things like came up as like super new convenient things, and yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, but otherwise just keep it simple. Don't like do too much and scratch. Don't like overwash it. Don't over cream it. Like just easy, because our body heals by itself, so it doesn't need some over extra. It just needs a little help, I would say, because some skin is more dry, some skin is not. Like that was a good point. When I was, for example, in Singapore and I was tattooing there for the whole month.
Humidity in the air.
Oh my god.
Right?
Like, if some tattooer will watch this and if he doesn't agree, like don't hit me, but everybody says like, I don't like to get tattooed in summer. Yes, okay. If you're like a super heavy beach person and you want to get suntan, I mean, but this is not also like good for the skin without tattoos if it's too much. So of course you don't want to go with any fresh tattoo in the sun, and of course you're going to skip it if you have a summer holidays. But to me, I love getting tattoos in summer.
It heals faster.
Exactly, Bogdan. That's so good, because it's such a humidity in the air. Like your skin is already naturally moistured, because in winter it's not only the cold, it's like the heating in the room. Like, come on, like you always have drier hands from the heating, from everything, from cold air. And I remember when I was in Singapore and I was, so like, let's say some clients had tattooed there, they would come like after 4 days, like, oh, it's almost healed. And I was like, man, humidity in the air. And it's also, they don't have the dry heat. Like here is a little bit more drier even in summer, but there is like really humid, which is really nice. Like, I mean, of course, if you over sweat is like our toxin, but okay, just keep it, that's what I say, keep it clean. But these things also help so much, really. So it's like so cool to observe. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
do you remember X-Files, the TV show?
Yeah.
Did you know Gillian Anderson lived in Prague?
She was filming something, right?
I know she lives here, yeah.
And is it like for some time, right? But I saw it by accident. I think I was reading on one of this expat portals, more like Prague Morning, and I think she was filming, and she like kind of accepted the award over online while she was in Prague or something.
I need to Google this.
I think I read it, and I think I sent it to someone or something. It was because, to be honest, like, you never forget about X-Files, but
right?
I would need to rewatch it to remember everything, because I was really young and I watched it with my parents. But then I just realized I was watching the Sex Education. Have you seen this series on Netflix?
I saw it there, but I didn't watch it.
Okay, and then because she was like she was a mother of I forgot his name, sorry, but and then I thought, oh my god, she's familiar, that's her, and she's like so beautiful. It's like, I was like, yeah, she's awesome.
By the way, she accepted the Golden Globe.
Yes,
The Golden Globe.
and she was here, right?
Yeah, via Zoom call from the hotel.
And I think she put a dress and she made a photo or something.
She won the award for the best actress in supporting role in a series, limited series or motion picture made for television.
Okay.
Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher on the Crown.
Okay,
I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it either.
Okay.
Did you watch the chess show?
No, I heard that it's good, and I've heard there was, I think, once. Someone's told me, I think it was even here or something. Yeah, the girl was working in Alza, and she said like, oh my god, because of the show, everybody was buying for Christmas like the chest.
Okay.
So, but apparently it's a good, I don't know, I didn't.
Yeah. So, Gillian, if you're listening, Petra will totally tattoo you, and I would like to sit down with you. So, drop us an email at 19 to the dozen.
We can do it live on the camera.
We can even do it live.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, 19 to the dozen at protonmail.com. Gillian, please drop us an email.
She's like living here? Is she filming?
I think so. Yes, I think so. I would like. Wouldn't you like to tattoo her?
It's a right time for a celebrity to live
in
Prague. Otherwise,
yeah,
it would be too much, right?
Yeah.
Good job, smart. No, but really, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about this. Yeah, I'm moving my hands a lot.
I think that's okay.
That's okay. I think this is what we're speaking. Maybe it's a cultural thing as well.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
But
I don't
I've
think
been
I'm
so
always-
nice, right? I've not even spoken once over you, I think.
I talk so much. I told you in the
No,
beginning.
it's just how we do it in the Balkans, where we speak at the same time, both of us, and still keep
Yes.
understanding us,
That's
and it's
normal,
fine.
of
Yes, and
course.
people would not really like, what are they doing?
It's so really true, but it's really true. And you know what? That's actually a good point. Now you reminded me that thing is like, I started being aware of the things from our countries. The things you took for granted when you were living there. And when I moved here, I realized that I am louder than I thought. Even my colleagues would tell me sometimes here, especially it would happen often when someone speaking my language would come to the shop, and it could be, let's say, a
Suddenly,
client.
the volume
My
level,
volume
yeah,
was
yeah,
on.
I
I
totally
wasn't
understand
aware of
this,
it. And I remember once, I forgot exactly who it was, but let's say, I think it was just a client, but we realized we are speaking the same language. He was from Bosnia. He's from Bosnia. So we never met before. But it's just because we have this same, I guess, the level of everything and the way to talk about things, even if it's about the weather. And remember, he came here for consultation, and we were just like, blah, 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 and we met first time ever. And I remember my colleague, Katya, she says like, oh, it's your friend. And I'm like, oh, I just met him, but he's, he's my, like, basically from my country almost. And she was like, okay, but so these things are like so even, and we were like here, and I was like, sorry, we were very too loud because I'm not aware. And in my language, I mean, I'm the same when I'm speaking with my mom on the phone or with my friends. It's always just like, shh, shh. Like, okay, sorry. So yeah,
What do you miss from home?
the sea.
Oh, yes.
Really, I think food. This Mediterranean touch, I think the sea brings it all.
There is actually this. Sorry, again, maybe this is the first time.
You should. You
But
should.
there is
You
this
should.
funny thing on
interrupt.
Instagram where actually I've seen people like they would say that they are supporting Czech Republic to have a sea. It's
How?
the only thing that
Yeah,
Czech
exactly.
Republic misses is the sea. So
That's what I
let's support
said.
this movement of.
Let's bring the sea to
What
Czech
we-
Republic.
Let's
Get
bring
some
the sea to
tunnel.
Czech
What is
Republic.
going
I think it's a hashtag or something.
No, but then Croatia will go more poor because
Yeah.
nobody will go there. Okay.
Anyway, the world is flat, so then the
Yeah, the
water
world
is
is
there.
Oh my God, no! But like the sea,
Yeah, through the sea.
and I miss this.
Although Zagreb is not on the sea, I mean, from Zagreb to
It takes us
Rijeka, you
1
still
hour
have
to-
like 100-something kilometers on the
1
highway.
hour, I can be in
Can you see
or
from
something.
like a rooftop from Zagreb? Can you see the sea on a clear day? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm asking.
Yeah, I should maybe know, and now my friends will be like, "Oh my God, Petra, you're so dumb." But no, I don't
I've been
think
asked who was Dracula the
so.
last episode, and I couldn't explain.
okay.
So it's fine.
No, and you know why? Because as I said, when we lived there, we took those things for granted.
granted,
You know,
yeah.
right? It's just like, yeah, I just know it's there. Because okay, basically, like, you can be. We used to have like a vacation kind of a home when we were younger on island Krk.
Oh, of course.
Beautiful.
But I thought it was Krč. Doesn't
No,
have the
it's
k,
Krk,
the
Krk.
it doesn't have the thing on top.
There is krš we use for calling the stones on the seaside, like
Okay,
when
so
you have.
maybe
But it's like when
I
you
mean,
have
I'm
like
not
a group
teaching
of
you
stones.
Croat or anything, but I thought it was spelled with
No,
the
no,
chi.
no, Krk, island Krk.
Okay.
Unless someone pronounce it differently, but I don't know.
No idea.
It's Krk,
Okay, so
like
Krk.
like neck in
Fine.
Czech.
Thank you
right?
for checking me. Oh, you know, yeah.
Because the more I know Czech, like I'm like, oh.
It should
But-
come easy to you, right? I mean, it should come as Italian comes
Yeah,
to
I
me.
was a bit like lazy to kind of because I never took any lessons, but I was working with foreigners mostly, so I never hear it like sometimes like and then step by step. But yeah, it is, but also at the same time it's so different because our like grammatic is like something that I thought, oh, it must be the same like in Czech. No, it's completely in Croatian. It's completely different.
Yeah, but I mean, that would be the last thing I would worry.
Yeah, exactly. But it's definitely easier for me to pronounce, and like some vocabulary things are at least similar. Some are like completely different. Do you know about úžas? Úžasný? Have you spoke about it?
Úžasný?
So you know what is in Czech?
Yes.
It means something
Amazing.
wonderful,
Yeah.
amazing. But úžas, the word úžas is a disaster in Croatian, in Bosnian.
Oh, okay.
In Polish, I think I have Polish friends. And I think I saw it like on probably, I think it was like on a photo on Instagram and someone commented, ужасный, and I was like, whoa. No, Petra, but
yeah?
didn't you know it means, and everybody was like mind blown in Croatia when I told them this.
Alright. There's the kind of same thing we have maybe with Friar, which it would be like a smart guy.
In Croatia, we use the same friar, like cool
Yeah.
guy.
But for us, it would be totally somebody that you can kind of
Oh my God. Like
take
a fan.
advantage of, yeah, somehow, because he's
In
like
Czech,
maybe-
friar is also the same. Friar means somebody is cool, which is acting.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I think in Serbian the same, but in Romanian it would be like totally the opposite. I mean,
Okay.
which is funny.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, but exactly, and that was just like, like super, like completely opposite.
And spor, I think as well, which actually means slowly.
Yeah, we also say spori.
Yeah. But we would say like work with spor, which means like have like energy working, which is where did that come from? Maybe again
But
the
you
total-
guys in Romania, you're like also Latin based.
Yeah,
still,
yeah,
right?
we are
You know,
Latin
and
based.
you
I
have
mean,
it
everything
mixed.
that comes
You have
from Slavic is
Slav and
just yeah. Because
okay,
we
like
have
more
like
influence.
yeah,
Okay.
but we have the same. I mean, it's such kind of a rich language that you can you have the polysemantic words, and they have like roots from Slavic roots, but then
Exactly.
you'd have the same kind of word, not the same, but another word describing the same thing with the Latin flavor. So you could say, for example, ce ora e, which is sounds like que ora es, right?
Exactly.
Which is what time it is, but you can also say cât e ceasul, which actually
Bulgarian.
is like
A bit sounds
time
now,
and
no?
so on. What time is
Okay.
it? So yeah, it's yeah, well, yeah. Moving to Prague, what was I don't know what was your first cultural shock, or did you have any
I
cultural
never
shock?
had it here much. I was actually happy that at same point it reminded me some things like home, and like in a way that I don't know. I did felt like this like warmth in the city. As I said, like even when you go alone for a coffee, beer, or something, I never felt like oh my God, alone or weird. You know, there was like this nice
Yes,
warm
you're
flow.
right.
Czech people are like really also like, okay, we are like super too maybe tempered, but like, you know, Czech people are really nice and like warm. So it was like, I like the lifestyle in a way, was reminding me sometimes as, you know,
yeah.
our at home.
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
like this,
true.
people like to meet for drinks and sit for coffee. I'm not sure how long, because in Croatia people sit for coffee for hours. Like really long. Like we have it really like take it easy. So I think here is something between Germany and Croatia.
they are a
It's not
little
so
bit more.
so fast and strict like there, but like in a way so this is what I found here like I liked. But then again I also like this I don't know, like people like get things done also here, you know, like it was like yeah, just it was kind of a I didn't feel like such a cultural shock like so I think, or maybe now I can recall because like it also it's been a while since I moved.
Yeah, true.
But I think it was more like amazed by the whole city, the whole like it's so big but it's not massive, it's not chaotic. I can get lost but it's not like lost. You know what I mean?
Public transportation
Oh
is
my
awesome
God, it's
for
the
me.
best
Right?
thing. I
Yeah.
never used the best. It's so simple and easy, on time. Always you can easily,
Yeah.
like when I was spending time, or still when I'm like spending time in Berlin, or when I was in London at some point, because I was working in another city in United Kingdom, and then like it was like few hours from London, but I was always go through London. Once I saw it, I was like, I don't need to. I mean,
Okay.
nothing bad. Maybe I should give it more chance. But to me, it was like,
Too crowded, too
I mean,
messy.
of course, it's
everybody
just
got the
another
rhythm,
big European,
yeah.
like, or not European anymore. But like, so there is a lot of like Paris. But Paris is like amazing, but also I found like metro way more hectic for me.
Oh, and smelly.
Yeah, I don't know, like you know, it was like really like too. I mean, in my hometown, I never got like we never had a metro, and it's like smaller, you know, like Zagreb is small. We just have trams and buses, but still here, I was never like. It was always easygoing and kind of well. I guess design oriented. I don't know. It was,
Yeah,
or even
actually.
by walk. Like Prague is like built kind of the center in the circle, so you can always just end up somewhere, cross some hill or so. I don't know. It was just like always like some like things. I would always find something here new. There is always some street you never saw before, right?
That's and there's not a lot of cities in Europe that give
No.
me this feeling. The
No.
same I would say I have with Barcelona,
I love
right?
Barcelona.
It's
Exactly.
you never know what's around the corner, kinda. It can be anything.
It's such a good Barcelona was
And Prague is mysterious in that way as well,
exactly.
but in a good way. I
No,
mean,
in a great way. It's like so. I mean, even still now, like when life is like slow and I'm still not bored. Like, oh, I need to. Like, it's just still like I feel good, like walking around. Or actually, now I had more time, like when I was like, or meeting friends for a walk, like due to pandemic, because we cannot like meet anywhere else. They would actually discover me some like parks that I would maybe just not have time to go more. But it's not like that you don't have time because it's like super far away. It's just like they were around the corner, but you just need to like see them. I don't know, like it was awesome always.
oh, it's cold outside. We were just having a cigarette.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too cold.
We were talking about differences between, Prague and Zagreb, and we were
Yeah.
talking about how nice it would be for Prague to have the sea. But then again, like if you look at the past week, 2 or 3 snow days consecutive in the beginning of
Exactly.
April,
Like early
with
morning.
with the cherries kind of blossoming. The fuck is
And then
that?
in
man?
the morning, I think it was like around 8 a.m. and I woke up and I was like, it was like snowing and like this gray kind of a sky. And maybe around noon, it was like a spring sun, warm light and stuff. But this is like what we were talking about, the Czech Sea. It's still it would be the difference, maybe like you have a sea, I don't know, let's say somewhere Scandinavia, but it's different than when I say I miss my sea, it's because the whole warmth and temperature and the food that grows, like, the vegetables and stuff, it's like olive oil.
Tomatoes that taste
Tomatoes
like
that
tomatoes.
I want to give a shout out to amazing Bulgarian Balkanske potraviny in Holešovice. They have
Okay.
the best tomatoes.
No, seriously, they do.
Oh my!
I'm
it's
gonna
the
become a
tomatoes,
client
you know,
because tomatoes are a
I'm
problem.
happy to share because, like, if you didn't know, first actually Ivan, he's a shop owner as well, co-owner, and he brought it once to the shop in summer. And like we have the same way of eating. It's like just like a lot of tapas and I remember he just brought like a bag, like like this all the way when you had like this just simple plastic bag from an old grocery shop of with babička, how to say. And he brought like this massive ugly looking ones, the beautiful
The 1 kilo
actually.
ones, yeah, right? Oh my
This,
god.
bull heart, whatever, like this.
Where is he
pink
getting them from?
tomatoes.
Is he actually bringing them from
And
Bulgaria?
exactly, so they're like really brought from Bulgaria, and they don't last forever.
Yeah.
Those tomatoes you need to like eat in like 3 days maximum because they're getting rotten because they're actually the real ones without too much pesticides or whatever. And I remember he brought it down in the shop, and like we have this little like a small kitchen down area, and he just cut them, and the whole place was smelling of like the tomatoes. So nothing. We just put a bit of salt and like what we usually would eat on the seaside in Croatia. It was just
With a little bit side of cheese or something like that, right? It's just simple comfort food that brings you home. Yeah.
Exactly.
I know what you mean.
That's what I mean. Like it's just like the certain temperature just maybe gives you. This is what I miss. But then again, Prague has a lot of other things that I don't, like maybe I miss like this. Of course, they do have here like those food markets, but what we do have in Croatia, we have them during the whole year, every day, open. Like really, you have like we call it plats.
Yeah.
Yeah, like but you have it like every neighborhood has it, like with the fresh cheese. Everything is just like we have a lot, and this is what I miss to go there for like food shopping. Here.
Yeah,
They
to me,
do have it, but it's not
Naplavka and
so-
these kind of things are kind
Exactly.
of the thing you can get closest to that. But
Exactly.
I don't
But
think they
this
are like
is- Yeah.
I mean, maybe they are farmers, and I don't want to offend anybody,
No,
but you know, like
exactly.
from like really small.
A really small garden. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
you
this
know,
is what
this is what we're missing in Prague. I think. I mean,
exactly
these
right.
people
And you
do
have,
have kind of.
what do you miss actually most? Is this
Well,
also?
I guess cheese and tomatoes. Yeah, because
I mean, but-
anything else we can kind of get.
Czech
But
cheese, by the way, I love it. My love for Hermelin is.
me too.
It's different cheese though.
But it's different cheese. Yeah.
But I'm happy that when I moved here, I noticed like, oh, there's so many cheese options, like or this korbačky, the little salty ones.
the
in
you know. Okay.
We love to like sometimes after work we would like just get a couple of beers and korbačky from the potraviny, nothing else. And like to have like this one beer after work with that, like Tarlito loves it, and it was just And I bring it to my boyfriend to Berlin all the time. He loves it as well. It's like really I like this. Czech has so much things like that I love it, and my fridge is full of these things. Like, but I mean I'm a vegetarian, but I'm still like.
Have you
very
always been a
easy.
vegetarian? Can we talk about it?
Yeah,
Can I
we
challenge
can
you
talk about
for
of
this?
course, yes, because
Controversial topic.
I was never like such a big meat eater. I mean, like, yes, Croatia is full of meat as well, but also
Seafood as well, right?
Seafood. Okay, I must say, like, but I say this to everyone. I eat fish when I go to Croatia. I never called myself like a strict vegan or something. Even though, on the other hand, I support this way of living more, and like I often really like just try
because
to
of
use
the
products
you
and
know,
just
the way we
and
treat food.
animals and
This is what,
exactly it's
right?
horrible. And this is we can go back to the small farmers, you know. It's like just I don't want to support too much of this like big production of, you know what I mean.
With
and
this,
the
I
horrible
totally
way.
agree. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's
I
different.
mean, it's understandable to me, but I've met somebody in Prague that would, for example, not eat honey because honey comes from animals.
It's true also.
Like,
I
come
know. But I know the point of view, why not? But then again, I have vegan friends who are just like, if you bring them like a homemade honey, they will actually just take it and say, okay, this is really homemade. And I don't know, they wouldn't be vegans for their whole life. So they took it because they know that it's homemade, that the bees are, having like, good life. Nothing was like, it was just like in a little garden of, I don't know, a grandma or something. So yeah. And
But with this, I mean, this kind of brings a bigger topic. If you want to chat about it, I mean, it can be. I think it's something that I can. It's something that a friend of mine actually said, and it maybe is the other way of looking at one point. For example, recycling, which is another thing. I do it.
Yeah.
You do it, and most of the people around us, I think, do it.
It's also
already,
so easy,
right?
really,
It's so
right?
easy, and
Yeah.
Prague has this
that's what I wanted
wonderful.
to say.
I mean, it's so easy to just sort and you know.
It's so, why wouldn't you do it, right?
Yeah.
It's so.
And my friend is, but companies are putting out this plastic. Why is it on us to clean their mess just because we
That's
buy
a
the
good
products,
point,
right?
exactly,
Why don't
yeah.
they deal with this shit? It's
You mean
kinda,
like why they serve products in the plastic, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
Because for them, I believe I might be wrong, but for them it's just a matter of cost,
And
I think.
also they
right?
are a mass, so they sell it in a massive way. So
Yeah.
let's say, honestly, sometimes we do not have.
But
an
it's not
option.
on them to recycle. It's on us. The pressure is kind
Look,
of, you know.
You can be like both vegan. You can be.
And my bigger point, sorry to
Sorry,
interrupt,
no.
is that you can have the
You
same
should.
kind of thing with
Yeah.
food. I mean, for Europe,
Exactly.
for me, European Union is really nice because, for example, we don't accept the American GMOs, right? The genetically modified
yeah.
organisms. Well, okay, kudos too for that, right? But then again, why is it in 2021 legal when there's all these studies and everybody understands that the quality of food can lead to cancer, which, for example, like leads to your part of your taxes being spent for caring for these people, right? Which actually can be just solved by like imposing some laws for this food manufacturing in which some standard can be imposed. Of course, maybe this means costs on them, and this means that for the industry needs to retechnology, whatever, and take another thing on producing food. But since the topic is there and we all understand, it's again like, we just produce this kind of food. It's up to you if you buy it or not. But yeah, it's not a true choice somehow.
Because you can find
rages me.
No, it's true, because like, let's say you want to support anything, whatever. Let's say you can buy a a block of tofu, but it's wrapped in plastic. You need to throw that plastic. You know what I mean? And by the way, every time I whatever use, can be cheese, whatever, I wash this plastic because I cannot put it in a plastic bin with the food leftovers.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's okay, of course, for us individuals, it's such an easy job. And also you don't consume so much things that you make like a pile of trash if you're like if you're not living in like a big family household, you know what I mean? But
Even like
also,
this,
is it like really wouldn't, but it would be cheap if you're just like using recycled paper, no? Or am I wrong?
I don't know.
Like,
if,
you know
if
what
I
I mean?
if I will
There
be
is so
paid
many-
to think about this, I will have a solution.
No, but I was thinking like, because if so much, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit like a hypocrite
There's
because
many things we can
need
do,
a lot of plastic foil in the shop for our work.
but that's
because-
different.
Yeah, in the end, we don't use it that much because we use it for 1 or 2 people per day sometimes.
There
you
is
know?
a cool
It's just
thing on
for wrapping.
Netflix. It's called Seaspiracy.
I still haven't
You know,
saw it. I put it like
60%. Can I give you a whatever? So 60% of all the plastic in the ocean actually comes from fishing industry. It's the nets which got disregarded and so on. But nobody talks about it because I guess it's explained in that documentary, but the same people that are founding these NGOs with
Yeah.
ocean plastic are actually owning the fishing industry.
Exactly.
So for them, it's kind of funny to point out all the other plastic manufacturers which don't make for a majority of plastic in the sea. We've been lied all this time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, watch it. I mean, it's amazing.
No,
I
but
mean,
I put it on a watch
Yeah.
list, and I somehow I just still haven't. But super.
yeah, you can.
Okay. I mean, it's not super, but you know.
Yeah. So then I understand these people that will, try to have healthy food options and so on. But then again, I'm thinking about my friend that wouldn't eat honey because it's from animals. It's
No,
a
but
little
this
bit
is
of
what I can compare
too much
to, like,
for me. But then again, each and everyone can do
And the
their
thing is
own
that
thing.
when I'm comparing to the country where I'm living, like when I see that like the old grandpa goes 5 in the morning and catches fresh fish, and where like a big tanker boat goes, like to like I don't know, North Sea or something. This is what I'm talking
This is
about.
totally different,
This is
yeah.
like a small farmer who, I mean, yes, the fish is still being catched and eaten, and I'm aware of this whole thing, but like it's just the way how it's done.
It needs to be sustainable. I mean, you need to leave enough fish in the water so you would have fish next year and the year after that.
Exactly, and it's
all
this
these ecosystems of
Thank
fish
you.
eating fish and everything else, no?
Exactly, and it's really like exactly you need to live, and it's still there like a lot. But if it's like overdoing,
Yeah.
you're just gonna have plastic in the sea, and that's it. Like it's exactly. But do you know that there's things with the beer, that some beer is filtered through like some things that has something to do with the fish or fish nets?
Stan?
Yes, I heard this somewhere. So like wine or something even. So it's like you can have this like label. I don't want to be like now I need to read more about it because
As
I don't
long
want to
as
sound like dumb, but it's something
Okay.
that I know, and I think my friends from UK told me this, and it was just once, and I was like, really? Yeah. They're like, no, I'm not drinking this beer because it's not actually. It's been used like in a processed way. Maybe
fish what?
something. There is something. So
Brewers often use fish bladders, more formally known as glass,
Yes,
for the
okay.
filtering of cask beers.
For
The
filtering
substance,
beer.
which is gelatinous, it's used to filter yeast and other unwanted
Yeah.
solids from the beer.
that's what I mean. I know that it was something for filtering the beer. I just didn't know exactly the.
My
Cool,
whole
you were
beer
fast.
universe kind of changed now.
I
Seriously,
know.
mean.
I was the same, and like especially because since
So
I
you're
lived
filtering
here,
the beer through the bladder of fish.
I don't know
Jesus
which ones and what, and I don't know.
Guinness is eliminating fish guts from production to make vegan-friendly beer. So I guess
Good.
Guinness
Wow.
was filtering through fish bladders and vegans didn't approve.
Wow.
That's what I got in
That's
these 10 seconds of
crazy,
It
research.
is crazy, right?
It's crazy.
Why
Like, I didn't know it
I
was-
mean,
I don't know.
The elephant has a bigger bladder. Why
No,
not elephant
don't
bladder?
No,
Poor
but like,
elephants.
really,
I mean, we're still killing them for their
The
task.
thing is that it's like to me, like it's that like beer is like it's a
It's a plant thing.
It's a plant, like a drink, you know?
You can be a vegan and drink beer.
So why would you need to use this? Like, this is what I don't like about this whole industry.
Because,
like,
look,
why are you
if
using
Guinness does
this
it,
to-
then some Brit guy got smashed at one point and thought,
but-
I should pass this through fish.
But this is what I was thinking. I think it's only the big companies for the same reason, like you say, like the matter of expenses, maybe. Because I don't think the small. Can you imagine like small brewery using no? Because they don't have this.
No, yeah. Where would
I
you
have
find
friends
fish?
who are brewing beer, and I know how they do it. Like,
yeah.
so, but this is, I think, it's like again for the consumption reasons. I guess the major you are, maybe I don't know, and then it's easier. I still don't get the point. Why is it? I know. I just heard about it. Crazy. I hope Pilsner doesn't do it. I love it.
You love Pilsner? I was gonna ask, what's your favorite beer here?
I think
Like Czech beer.
there is a lot of. I like.
There's a lot of good options. Yeah.
Sviani, but Svianski Maz I discovered in the can.
Sviani I like as well.
Oh my!
It's kind of good.
Vinohradska pivo.
Yeah.
But Pilsner is like, if I really want like the little like the Schnitt
The
or just like the broad beer, like let's say, you know, when you're like in between thirst and hunger.
that works,
We used
right?
to call it
yeah.
a beer
Pivo
diet.
Jehana. Yeah.
But because like beer here first, it doesn't get you like wasted with a bad hangover if you have a lot. I mean, okay, yeah, I don't know if you have like really 10 of them. Of course, you're not gonna be fight. However, you need to. But let's say if you have like, you know, like 2, 3, you can easily wake up normally in the morning. There is nothing bad. You're still like kind of hydrated, and it's a good beer, and it's saved in barrels, really nice. This is what like, and then. We were making jokes in the beginning with my old colleagues here. We used to call it beer diet because we would order like, you know, first one after work. You really drink it fast because you have this, like, you didn't put anything, like you didn't drink water, food for maybe hours. And then the food comes, and every time it's like, oh, today I'm not so hungry. And then you realize, because in Croatia when I would drink beer, I would still normally eat because it wasn't so fulfilling, you know? And then I remember I came home and, okay, obviously I was outgoing a lot and I was working a lot. And I think I was living on beer and Hermelin and I lost kilos. And my mom was like, what? Yeah, Petra. And I was like, I don't know, I'm drinking beer and eating cheese and I lost kilos, like really. But it was just, I guess, just stupid small, like it would make me feel so like I'm enough for today. I just had like these 2 big beers and that was my dinner. I don't know.
When I moved, it was difficult for me because back home, and I think maybe you do it the same in Zagreb, we're not qualifying the beer with desitku, jedenatsku, dvanatsku.
No, we don't
right?
at all.
We don't.
just the
It's just
regular
beer. Yeah, you
beer.
want to have an unfiltered beer or you want to have like normal Pilsner beer, whatever,
Exactly.
right? And it's maybe the percentage of alcohol we look at.
Maximum. Yeah.
Right? But yeah, so I don't know, Stan, it's about the level of sugar in it, right? 10,
Is
11,
it?
12.
Or
Because it's really hard as a foreigner,
but
it's
I
really
love
hard to
it.
order a beer in Prague
I actually love
and
it
know what
because
you're doing, right?
I
In the
realized that
beginning.
I don't like the sitka.
I do. I mean, for me, it's lighter. Yeah.
In general, yeah, 10 desitka is less. There is less alcohol in it.
Okay.
In 12.
Yeah.
There are exceptions, like for example in Plzeň. Plzeň is technically a 12, but
Yeah.
it still has a 4.8.
That's why I
percent of
like
alcohol
it.
or something like it. So they
Yeah.
made it so it's marketable as a 12 because it's on that border of alcohol, which is
But it's also
still
it's more
characterizing as 12.
flavorsome, right? That's why usually I don't choose the sitka because usually it reminds me of the regular beer I would drink at home.
Da.
We have great wine, you know. But I can talk about wine in Croatia, but like here, and then I would be happy. Okay, they have the sitka, but they have like this good 12 or 13, but still it doesn't need to be like IPA with 7%, which to me it's like
I can only drink 2 or 3 of those, and with water. I
usually
mean, like
with
yeah.
water I always have
Because
it, right? My
it's
friends
so
are laughing
hoppy
like, Petra,
and,
you're drinking water with beer, and I'm like,
Of course,
I
you
feel
know.
good because it's different. And also here, when you go to like either this hospoda bar or like some more like craft brewery place, beer pub, you're like tasting it, and it's like if you go for a wine and you need to have something to kind of right. It's better
it
than
does, yeah,
you're not
absolutely.
gonna just drink it because
Yeah,
I hit the microphone second time
that's fine.
again. So yeah, but this is what I like because then I can like choose. Okay, if I pick Trinatska, then I'll get more of the flavor. It's not about how I'm gonna feel it. It's just that I really need to enjoy it because I will not drink it if I don't like it. Nothing spoiled. It's just like I don't like to be tipsy if I don't like what I'm. You know what I mean?
Of
I
course,
don't
yeah.
like. I'm not a rakia drinker, even though I'm from Croatia. My
Right.
friends are like, Petra. I think I have it in my blood anyway. So.
It's yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What would be a beer place? There's millions of beer places in Prague, but what would be the one you'd recommend in terms of anything?
of anything. Well, I really like the typical hospoda
Right.
because it's such a nice place to be. And let's talk about even when the weather is nice, when they have the zahrada, the garden open, and it's just the way how they, because it's really beer culture. Same like if you go to whichever country is amazing with wine, Italy, Spain. Let's talk about the wine place let's shortly. Just gonna mention wine place in Spain with tapas. First tapas you get with what you order the wine, and then they come for free, you know. So here is the same with the way you drink beer, you know. If you come there, they're gonna ask you, even if you have like this beer left over, the waiter will just take it and bring you a new one without you even ordering.
True.
Until you tell them stop, basically. So you need to know why
That
you
is
come
also
there, right?
like a little bit frustrating in the beginning when
It
you're
was like,
not
whoa,
used
whoa,
to it. Yeah, what are you doing with my beer?
I think you just start drinking beer faster once you move here. It just goes, no? But so I like these places. Like, I mean, it can be just like the typical little Czech food place. Doesn't need to be like a proper restaurant. Can be just like this. And this is what I love here, actually. This is, for example, which I like, and I didn't have it back home. Because we would often meet with my friends, let's say, for just a beer there, and then we would bring like snacks from bakery, because you always like to have something with the alcoholic drink. I personally, I'm a hedonist in this point, and I always, even when I have friends over, I like to serve some. Maybe it's part of a culture, but like in a way that I'm happy that here, every place you go, at least you can get a bag of peanuts, arashidi, or hermelin, or bramborački, or utopenec, whatever you prefer. So you
Do
can
you guys have
this.
utopenec? For me, it was
No.
really new.
I never.
Yeah.
We have also sausages in a lot of our.
Yeah, but you
not a
don't
pickled
pickle it,
one,
you know?
think,
I mean,
no.
who pickles sausages?
No, I had a vegan one actually, just out of curiosity. I
Pickled?
went with a friend once for a lunch, and I wasn't even hungry, but I saw they had it on the menu. Yeah, it just tasted like a tofu sausage, but it was. So I would still like maybe I even tried a piece of the real one, but interesting. I think it goes with the
It does.
beer and stuff. And
I don't like what's that?
Yeah,
I don't
me
like
too. I'm not a
vinegar, you know.
vinegar
So
person.
then this kind of
Yeah.
thing would not be on my list. But yeah, you travel to Prague, you need to have one.
That's what I like, because you can just like, you know, you don't need to like, because I don't like to go just for food to places. For me, it's like, but that's also part of the culture, because in Croatia it's like you usually, you know, go for like, I mean, you go to restaurants, but you go like, at least like you often go for like drink and food, you know?
Yeah, paired. Yeah.
Not like just to eat fast and go. I mean, at least me or my family was always like, you know, if we already go for a restaurant, then we're going to hang out, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or at
Because the
home.
meal is a
Meal and drink and
how to say it's like an event.
Exactly. And it wasn't to get drunk. So same I don't do here. It's like, it was just enjoying slowly sipping whatever wine or beer you like. It was like this easy, event and long talk.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and
We would eat even like on
guys-
Sundays for hours, maybe
Exactly,
2-3 hours,
right?
like the Sunday family dinner.
I'm so,
blah, blah.
do you miss this?
Of course.
Me
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Because it would be always like my mom would be like, and we have this like, I mean, in our house, but I think in a lot of Balkan houses it's the same, like, don't move anything from the table, first the cigarette. And we would have it. And then after that, you pick like some other leftovers from the table and you eat and you talk. And it's like this long way of... So this is what I liked here. Let's say after work, I would meet my friends, and you never need to be like, hey, are you hungry? Or you just go see, you know, the place where you can just, if you're hungry, you have a little snack with a drink or whatever. I mean, you don't need to drink beer. You can have a iced tea, you know, but like in a way that this is what I like here, that you can always have this option of having a snack when you're out, and I don't know, on every corner basically. Yeah. So.
Stan, anything you want to add?
How are we doing?
I had actually one question. You spoke a lot about this tattoo and
Yeah.
being a big part of your life. Like, do you have something which you do when you are sick of it, or you don't get sick of it at all?
I kind of okay. I do something that I really did when I was a kid in a way that okay, I can go and play video games as well. Yeah, I'm not like so into like new PlayStations and stuff, but I would still play my video games on my PlayStation 1. I still have it at home.
What are your video games?
I'm still like just on my Tomb Raiders and stuff. I love it. It's like forever I passed it, but I always like to go back to it, and which I was doing in the beginning of quarantine. But like really painting, I don't do it everything like I paint. I don't necessarily do it to sell it as a tattoo after. For me, I was just happy that I had time to do it. I mean, the thing is that I do paint now something that is tattoo inspired because it's what I do and I want to study it to be better, but I just do it because to me it relaxes me and I needed to explain my friends, for example, Petra, but how can you be home for a week or two alone? And I'm like, no, I'm having time of my life. And also always you're in touch with someone, and sometimes I'm really fine with not seeing people and I like to do this for myself, or I think those are my hobbies. Or I don't know, like I like to handcraft things. I like to resew my closet stuff. I don't know. So this is really something that I do when I want to break. I listen to podcasts at home or music, and I can spend like evening on Spotify discovering new stuff and making a playlist, which I also use for work. So maybe these are like my hobbies a bit, like, I don't know, like something that is more crafty. I like to build things at home if I can, like putting some shell. I don't know. So yeah, I don't have some like special hobby, like something super, like, I don't know, some sport or something. I don't think so.
Yeah, sport is overrated.
Yeah, like usually people expect me to say like, okay, so there must be. And honestly, I don't want to say I necessarily don't have time, but there is a special relationship with tattooing. Like really, if I don't do it or if I don't draw it for too long, it's like I feel like I'm cheating on it or something. It's like I feel like I need to keep up with it a bit. But I do it also for myself because it brings me joy. This painting at home, I think of something, I want to create it. And so, yeah, I do it this is what I do for myself as well. But then it expands. So
then again, they can see your work on Instagram. It's the handle is @Petrica.
Yeah, and you can visit our page One Love Tattoo. Also, just right at One Love Tattoo Shop. So
yeah, right, because the shop has an account.
So you can see all of our work.
Which I'm not following, just following you. I will follow.
No. But I'm also, actually, honestly, I'm not spending so much time on Instagram like as maybe I should, but I usually just post a picture. Like, I realized I also wasn't following you for a long time because I usually just do this. And if
you did. I thought I was gonna mention it in the end, but like, okay.
And I'm so bad, and sometimes because like clients are not.
I was actually thinking, does she realize it's me, or she thinks like I'm, like a weird
never on
stalker?
Purpose, because I usually put something or like the story I want or tattoo, and then I just go offline. And if the inbox is like full of messages, I'm like, I get lost, and then I just don't see something because I don't like to check who did this. I'm not so much there, like, no. But yeah, so One Love Tattoo Shop as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, it was super fun.
for sitting down with us, Petra.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm absolutely sure that, everything that you've said is going to be super nice for anybody that wants to get into this, so they would know what to expect. And for anybody that I think also needs inspiration, because you are exactly like, I guess, a model for putting time into it, and it will.
I hope I can do better. I think
of course, there's talent, and you need to put that time on the basis of some things which make you happy and which you're, I guess, good at, or you think you're good at, right? But in the end of the day, what I think it's really nice about your story is that you can almost achieve anything you want at a young age as well. You can, by putting in the time and having the talent, you can achieve like things. And to me, it was so nice to actually see that you wouldn't want to do anything else. Because if you would ask me, I would say, I want to do podcast. Yeah, I want to do training. Yeah, I want to be I want to fly a plane. But
I'm
for
usually
you,
a person
like
when
really,
I found something, I stick to it. So,
which is kind of, I think, what it's one of the things where you can achieve great things. It's just focusing on.
And I think tattoo culture deserves
it.
I think as long as people stick to to it longer, it will be the real one, not the one just what people think they see online or on Instagram, which is like not fake, but it's like, it's much more that's happening inside of the shop or, stuff like this. So yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to ask, like, for the ending, if you would be able to change something about the world today, what would it be? Like something that you would like, snap your fingers and no question asked. It doesn't matter if it's possible or not.
I think just really illness, sickness in any point, just anything that disables you for whatever is considered normal. I mean, like, everything has a purpose, blah, blah, but I'm a little bit more realistic.
Some of the things around don't have a purpose.
And they really don't have a purpose. And I really think like that health is the most. And regardless of this pandemic, because I think I don't want to be called bad now that say this is still the easiest thing to deal with through the things we've been dealing.
I mean, we've seen the movies. It could have been eyes squirting out of your brain and shit like that.
I just listened to the Chernobyl podcast, by the way, like...
It could have
come
been...
Come on, what happened after that? So, like, yes, this is horrible, but... Exactly. I think that really the health, like, okay, if it's your own health that you choose to smoke or not, but in a way of this, something that you cannot... choose whatever, like, can be whatever, cancer, any kind of disability, something that doesn't let you maybe
be the best
or like be, exactly or like just absolutely. I mean, look at us, we're I'm grateful. That's why I don't want to complain on anything, so therefore this is probably this, like, this thing definitely. So
thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Like and comment. We can take questions, we can take invitees. Our email address is 19to_the_dozen@protonmail.com. Thank you, Petra. And Jillian, again, if you want to sit down with us, please drop us a mail. Ciao, guys. 19 to the dozen, the Prague podcast you want to listen to, because otherwise Czech Republic will stop brewing beer.